This video is going to be a film study look at the contributions of James Houston IV in the Lions' 26-23 win over the Houston Texans on Sunday Night Football. James Houston played 16 snaps, primarily on the field on third down passing situations. He was on the field a couple of times, first and second down, when Aaron Glenn was probably anticipating a pass play from C.J. Stroud in the Texans' offense. He had one sack on a drop 8 situation in the first half, whereby Aaron Glenn only rushed 3. Houston dropped out of there, and then as Stroud was able to scramble, navigate getting out of the pocket against, again, that 3-man rush, James Houston IV was able to come downhill at an angle and corral C.J. Stroud. Very similar, if you ask me, to one of his sacks his rookie year against Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. This was his first sack since 2022, since his rookie season. I think he looked better in the pass rush situations. In fact, 2 of his reps against Laremy Tunsil, I think if I've got the player jersey correct, number 78, he looked really good. Beats him on a speed rush, clean win, and then a speed to power where he basically escorts the left tackle back into C.J. Stroud's lap on the third down, 3rd and 6 play where everyone, at least Texans fans, is calling for a pass interference to be called on Terrion Arnold. I think this is what the Lions need. They need James Houston IV in the 18 to 20 snaps per game range, such that when he is on the field, maximum effort, 110% effort, and incredible burst. I'm not saying that he doesn't have the cardio to play 2 or 3 or 4 snaps in a row. They may need him to do that in some passing situations. He's the best pure speed pass rusher on this team, probably even with Za'Darius Smith there from a speed rush standpoint, if he's healthy. That caveat is huge. Does his ankle allow him to play at the speed and the bend and the low pad level that James Houston IV probably needs to succeed against some of these bigger left and right tackles? I'm not sure. I will say there's 2 plays in this game where he kind of gets his cleats in the ground and is able to either anchor a little bit or kind of bend off the edge, whether it was a run play or a pass play. I don't recall at this point. But he looks healthy. He looked good last week against the Packers. Certainly 35 or 36 snaps last week against the Packers. We didn't get the sack production. I thought he should have been credited with 2 quarterback hits. Twice he made contact with the quarterback as the ball was thrown or just thereafter. This week was a step forward, a movement further in the direction that the Detroit Lions defense needs him to go. If they can get James Houston IV on the field on third down passing situations, and he can explode and create that edge from a speed rush, then Aaron Glenn can build other blitzes, other stunts off of that ability. Can he do that and give us recreate the 2023 form? Probably not. I mean, there's nothing in the film that illustrates he can. It was totally unexpected when it happened that year, obviously. It would be even more so at this point. And this is coming from probably the biggest James Houston IV fan that you know. What you got against the Texans would hopefully be the norm from a production standpoint, from an effort standpoint, and a burst standpoint. This is the first third and long of the game. It's going to be a completion of Tank Dell against Amik Robertson. And James Houston IV down the bottom side of the screen, left-hand side of the defense, dealing with a tight end first, and then a guy in motion is going to be the secondary blocker. So it's a slide pro, if you will, whereby the tight end and a running back / receiver are responsible for the edge. James Houston IV not able to get anything done. Unfortunately, Amik Robertson unable to deal with Tank Dell as well. I thought Amik Robertson, 2 plays on the first drive, was either not in the right position in zone, or B, gave up a completion like you see there on that 3rd and 10. This is a 3rd and 16, same drive. James Houston IV almost off the frame of the screen for you guys. Again, 3rd and 16. And this is going to be Stroud getting out of there. I think something's wrong with this stunt because James Houston IV is going topside, so outside the tight end, and then Tunsil is dealing with him in a secondary fashion. Onwuzurike or McNeil is wrong here, one of them, or perhaps both. There's no way you leave that big of a bubble, that big of a gap for a quarterback, any quarterback, to get through, but particularly a guy like C.J. Stroud, who's very athletic, very smart, intelligent, and aware, and he takes advantage of it. I think that my suspicion is that something in the call got these guys wrong, and McNeil is supposed to loop, and Onwuzurike, perhaps take the B gap, but you cannot leave this much of a bubble. So pre-snap, there's only a 1-gap bubble, and there's no threat of the run. It's on 3rd and 16, so there's no concern about leaving a 2-gap bubble to the left, to the other side. but both D tackles, are stunting to the left. I think one of them got this wrong, and you can see you've got now a two-gap bubble post-snap for Stroud to deal with. He's able to step up, find Mechie or Michi, I still can't ever pronounce his name, for 16 yards to convert the first down. This is the second drive of the game now. James Houston IV is lined up on the inside, kind of a little bit of a giveaway for what they end up doing post-snap. It's a 3rd and goal from the 11. Dropping out Pascal to the left hash, dropping out James Houston IV to the right hash, essentially double teaming down here. Not sure if that's the design of this. Drop 8 coverage is effective, particularly down in the red zone at times. I remember I've did some film study videos after the Bengals beat the Chiefs in the 2021 AFC Championship game. I got a lot of negative feedback because I pointed out how often the Bengals utilized a 3-man rush and how effective it was at forcing Mahomes to hold on to the football, and no one ended up being open. Very similar dynamic here. These things can be effective in the NFL. Now, what do you need? You need an athletic guy or multiple athletic guys who, when the quarterback does get away from 3-man rush, because he generally will, can go finish the play in space and make the tackle. This is a perfect usage for James Houston IV, in my opinion. If you had other competent pass rushers on the field who could generate 6, 8, 10 sacks a season organically, then this would be a really smart deployment for him on some of these 3rd down situations. This same play, end zone angle, you'll lose him in the bottom right-hand frame. He's down here. You can see that Robertson is used as an edge rusher. Onwuzurike and McNeil are rushing. Pascal dropping out. They appear to be double teaming the running back down into the boundary. Great angle by James Houston IV. Again, very reminiscent of the way he tackled Justin Fields in a home game in his rookie season in Detroit. He didn't really celebrate a whole lot. I was celebrating. I don't know about you. I was just very happy for the dude, for him to get a sack. His first in 2 seasons, almost, essentially. And I was hoping that we would get more of that to come. We did get 2 wins later on against the pass. Here's a 3rd and 10 where the Lions are down 7. I think this is the 3rd possession for the Texans. And they're going to run the football with Joe Mixon. James Houston IV is down here at the bottom side. The Lions are not expecting a run concept. They have Alex Anzalone walked up. It's a 3rd and 10. Alim McNeil really stacks this thing up. James Houston IV gets away with contact to the face here against the left tackle. And I think he's holding on because there's extended contact here with what looks like the face mask, dislodging, upending that guy's posture. Give the end zone angle so you can take a look at it. Might lose him a little bit off the frame, but here is James Houston IV. Tight end's going to go across. Split zone concept on a 3rd and 10. Again, Detroit's down 10-7 at this point. Jack Campbell is trying to make a call, and then on the motion, they switch it. Great win. Backdoor lag technique, if you ask me, here by, I think, DJ Reader. And then Alim McNeil getting away from the left guard quite easily to be able to get control with Joe Mixon. They really shut Joe Mixon down. As an aside, I will have a video out on the Lions run defense Tuesday morning. Probably could have done a larger scale Lions defense video this evening as opposed to a James Houston IV one because he did only have 1 tackle and 1 sack and only play 16 snaps. A whole bunch of guys on this defense played every single snap. Probably could have focused on them a little bit more so first, but I'm a huge James Houston IV fan and wanted to get this video out. I don't know how many more of these we'll get to do this season. How many in 16, 18 snaps a game? There's certainly an opportunity for him to make some plays, but he's not playing 30, 35 snaps a game, nor do I think he should at this point. Screen on a 3rd and 21, late second quarter here. It's only 16-7 at this point, and there was an opportunity here he recognized it. He got his feet in the ground immediately, tried to elevate. Stroud threw it over the top. Fortunately for the Texans, Hutchinson was able to catch it. Xavier Hutchinson was able to catch it before Amik Robertson could deal with it. It's a great read by Robertson. Seeing the receiver step to the corner, the slot receiver goes underneath of it. C.J. Stroud and the Texans are very fortunate that A, Houston doesn't tip this ball up in the air, and B, Robertson doesn't get there a second sooner. Still didn't matter because the Texans were able to get another touchdown to finish the half up 23-7. This is going to be in the third quarter, and Houston can't get on the field here. It's a weird situation where they were trying to sub on a 3rd and 9. And again, the Texans run the foot. This is not a 3rd and 9. My apologies. This is a 2nd down where they're trying to sub and get him on the field for someone who had been on the previous play and unable to get the sub package in. Really unusual situation, if you ask me. This one is going to be a pass rush against the right tackle on a 3rd and 9. This is, of course, Brian Branch's brilliant play on the first snap of the fourth quarter to get a pass defense over the middle against Xavier Hutchinson. He again almost had contact with the right tackle's face mask. Nothing was called against him in either one of those situations, so perhaps it wasn't as egregious as I'm making it sound. The first one, the one that I showed you a moment ago, I think was pretty egregious. This one was close. With the right hand, looks like he's got shoulder pad. He's got to play at this pad level with his height. I think the speed rush has got to be more of a component for him, and even to the point where maybe it gets a little bit predictable. Later in the fourth quarter here, Detroit has closed to 23-20. This was a tremendous opportunity for him to get a sack. I will show the end zone angle, but I want to show the all-22. This is the really unusual finish to the play where the right tackle essentially strips C.J. Stroud. It's 3rd and 9. You're up 3. 9:30 left in the game, something like that. Punt the football and get out of there. I have no idea what the heck that guy was thinking. But look at the speed rush win by Houston here. Additional to that, Pascal's get off is pretty good on the opposite side as well. And you get an idea from the end zone angle about how quick James Houston IV got off on this play, but I'm going to keep running this back just so you can see him getting upfield. Unfortunately, unable to bend back towards C.J. Stroud and essentially kind of runs past him. Stroud escapes. Really a great missed opportunity. That would have been a great storyline. 2 sacks on the night, especially one here in the fourth quarter as you're down 23-20, trying to get the ball back. They almost did. Pascal stayed with it. I think he gets credit for the sack. For a moment here, I thought Pascal and or Houston forced a fumble, and then when you see the replay, you realize their right tackle is actually trying to take the football from his own quarterback. Never seen that before in my football life. Same play, end zone angle. I believe this is Tunsil, so that's what makes this a really impressive rep, along with one that I'll show you here in a moment. We'll run this back a couple of times so you can see the get off and the little dip underneath. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I want him to return to that 2024, 2022 form so badly. This looks like the type of burst that caught people by surprise. The type of burst that caught tackles a step slow, a step or a half step too slow, and he was able to get to the quarterback. He got there, unable to finish it. Should be a promise. You should feel, I would think, excited as a Lions fan if you're going to get high-level play from Josh Pascal, which they did, and some contribution from James Houston IV, along with occasional pressure from Aleem McNeil, Onwuzurike, guys like Nowosky. Can they get the job done to the point that you would have liked as a Lions fan when you had Aiden Hutchinson healthy? Well, no, probably not. But you're looking for some type of substitution in the aggregate, if you will. Moving forward here, we're now tied. This is a 3rd and 6. Again, most of the time that James Houston IV was on the field, it was a 3rd down. And they utilize this technique with him often, essentially dropping him out while overloading the offensive line, giving C.J. Stroud the look that they're going to bring heavy pressure, and then dropping him out, walling off any in cut. In this case, it happens to be by the slot receiver. I think that's Hutchinson. Unfortunately for Detroit, another situation where Arnold is having trouble staying with his man. This is John Metchie. Again, 3rd and 6. Stroud hits him. This was one of the things that I was talking about in our Discord, and multiple other guys that were as well. It wasn't just me. That, hey, you knew on a 3rd down in the fourth quarter that that's where C.J. Stroud was going to go. He wasn't going to go to Carlton Davis III, who had already picked him off twice. Don't think he was going to go against Brian Branch. Amik Robertson and or Terrion Arnold look like the guys. to me that he was going to go at, and sure enough, in this situation, he did. Houston, the fourth, dropped out, tried to wall off. It wasn't Hutchinson, excuse me. It was Robert Woods, and then got involved with the tackle along with Arnold. Unfortunately for the Lions, it was a conversion. I really like this rep. This is where I think that he could go from a pass rush standpoint if he's able to establish the speed rushes, is speed to power. This is, of course, the controversial play that many have called to be a defensive pass interference against Terrion Arnold. Yeah, he is there early, no doubt about that. Alex Anzalone also tips this ball, I think, before it would arrive there. I don't know about you. I kind of get tired of the ref that's in the booth telling us that something should be a penalty. I feel like it just kind of feeds into people's paranoia sometimes about the refs, but nonetheless, it's a great play by Alex Anzalone. Terrion Arnold trying to get the challenge, did arrive early. Let's look at the end zone angle of this one so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. Speed to power. Remember the speed rush off the edge where Pascal forced where the right tackle for Houston forced a fumble on Stroud. This time he's going to threaten with speed and then go to power. And watch him drive through Tunsil and essentially take him back to the quarterback. A little bit surprising to me that he was able to do this. There's a lot of drive there with those ankles, including the left one, which I think was the injured ankle. The third step, you do kind of see it give way a little bit, but then he regains his footing. There's certainly contact there between both of those guys to the helmet or to the chin area. He was being violent in this game. I think he looked really good. Am I saying, hey, you might get 8 sacks from him again in the next 6 games? Well, no, that was so crazy. I don't know who could recreate that unless they're going to be a premier Hall of Fame type pass rusher over the course of their whole career. He looked really good, if you ask me, compared to what we had seen so far in 2024. You have to let me know if you agree in the comment section. If you think the video was unwarranted for the fact that he only played 16 plays, I understand that. I vacillated between producing this one for after the Monday night game or putting that out on Tuesday morning, but I think the focus on the run defense deserves a little bit of a longer film study, more in-depth. This one is a little bit tertiary, surface level, because he only played 16 snaps. I didn't show you every single one, obviously. I think he looked closer to a guy who can be an effective pass rusher in third down situations. I think he should be on the field some more on 2nd and long. 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, after you've closed off or shut down the run game, and give him an opportunity, more opportunities to get after the quarterback if they do go with a pass play from the shotgun or a play action on 2nd and 7, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, which a lot of teams often do. I'm encouraged by what I saw. You'll have to let me know in the comment section if you are similarly optimistic based on this game's film and a little bit of the Packers game from last week where he did play about twice as many snaps. I think 35 or 36 snaps overall. First sack of the season was exciting to watch. Wish he could have finished one of the other two, either the speed rush that beat Tunsil pretty cleanly or the speed to power that basically walked Tunsil back into C.J. Stroud's lap on the final incompletion, 3rd and 6 that was intended for Terrion Arnold's man. Appreciate you guys' time, man. If you think other Detroit Lions fans would enjoy this film study look at James Houston IV, a name that has been talked about a lot in the last 2 years since his rookie year explosion, and with no production in the interim, unfortunately, I have to admit that. If you think other Lions fans would enjoy this film study look at it and you agree with the way that I presented the plays as an improving prospect still at this point, third-year player that we would love to see produce a ton, but I think at this point Lions fans would just settle for occasional pass rush contribution in the form of QB pressures, QB hits, things that gets the quarterback off his spot, because this run defense, once again, looks like it can be dominant and make teams one-dimensional early on if they choose. Appreciate you guys' time, man. If you think other Lions fans would enjoy this film study look, please, at James Houston IV, please consider grabbing a link to it, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.